Hello from Father Ivano from Spiritual Seeds. I will proclaim the Gospel of this 18th Sunday in Ordinary Time. From the Gospel according to Luke. A man in the crowd said to Jesus, "Master, tell my brother to give me a share of our inheritance." My friend replied, "Who appointed me your judge, or the arbitrator of your claims?" Then he said to them, "Watch and be on your guard against avarice of any kind, for a man's life is not made secure by what he owns, even when he has more than he needs." Then he told them a parable. There was once a rich man who, having had a good harvest from his land, thought to himself, "What am I to do? I have not enough room to store my crops." Then he said, "This is what I will do. I will pull down my barns and build bigger ones, and store all my grain and my goods in them. And I will say to my soul, 'My soul, you have plenty of good things laid by for many years to come. Take things easy, eat, drink, have a good time.' But God said to him, 'Fool, this very night the demand will be made for your soul. And this hoard of yours, whose will it be then?' So it is when a man stores up treasure for himself in place of making himself rich in the sight of God." The Gospel of the Lord. I've just, I don't know if I should say this, but anyway, I've just met a couple preparing for the marriage, for the wedding day. Very nice couple. I like them very much. And somehow, as I read this gospel, I'm thinking of them, because this gospel is for everyone. What does it mean, for instance, for a couple who are getting married? One can cry to Jesus and says, "Master, tell my brother, tell my husband to give me the share of our inheritance, to give me what is right." This request is not wrong. To share the inheritance in the Jewish tradition was not just a juridical act, it was a holy thing. The inheritance of the family was something holy, it came from God. In marriage, there are holy duties. But to turn to Christ and say to him, ask him or ask her to give me what is mine, he reveals, and that's why Christ intervenes and says, "But listen, I'm not the judge of your marriage. I'm not the one who takes sides. I'm here because I want to be in the middle of your marriage, not on one side, in the middle. That is, what is your heart like? Is your heart like mine? Can you forgive? Can you give what is yours to another? Is your heart chaste? Is your heart attached? Is your heart greedy? Is your heart full of things that the other has to give you?" Very important reading. Very important reading, because you see, even if your husband or your fiancé or your brother or your sister does something wrong to you, what he does reveals your heart. It reveals where your heart stands, whether your heart, where you are. The second parable, again, I'm thinking about this couple. I wish them every blessing. And sometimes God blesses us very much, like in this case. This is a rich man. Rich not because he made some good investments, but because the land produced an incredible harvest. That is, God gave to this man the rain, the strength, the fertility. This man is incredibly blessed by God. He's not a dishonest man. And to say, I will store up crops in new barns, is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong in this. Even in the Old Testament, in thinking of famine, thinking there may be years of drought, was very intelligent, very wise, very inspired to build up big barns. And to say to yourself, my soul, rest. I would like to say to my soul, rest. Eat, it would mean drink, it would be good for me. Have a good time, go on holiday. There is nothing wrong. There is absolutely no moral problem. What is the problem of this man? And can be the problem of this couple getting married, or it is your problem? What is the real issue? Is not to be rich in front of God. What does it mean? Is to forget that God is in our life. That God is the source of this blessing. Is to stand in front of Him, to pray to Him, to recognize that He is your Father, to put your marriage into His hands, and to let Him be God. That is to plan, but to allow God to change the plan. To have a wedding, to have a marriage, to have a beautiful time, and to allow God to speak to you, to reveal things to you. Is the sin of this man, the blindness of this man, and that is why he speaks in the night, is that this man lost sight of God. That this man lost sight that there is a God who loves him, that there is a God in his life, that God exists, that God is there for me to relate to Him. And this is what this word is helping us to do, that is to wake up and to bring God back into your life in His place, to relate to Him. You are getting married, put God in the center. You just got engaged, put God in the center. Don't think about the barns. Think about the will of God. You are alone, you are, wherever you are, bring God back into your life. Let Him speak to you. In the Gospel of Luke, and I finish, there is an incredible sentence that always stays with me in the early Gospel, in the early parts of the Gospel, when Jesus Christ is growing. Luke said He grew in front of men and in front of God. And this is what we are called to do. You are getting married in front of man and in front of God. You are alone in front of man, in front of God. You are in a crisis in front of man, in front of God. This is Christianity. To live in the sight of man and in the sight of God. To plan in the sight of man and in the sight of God. This is Christianity. I wish you a time of holiday in the sight of man with a bit of rest and good time, but also in the sight of God. God bless you. See you next time.